All right, welcome to the Erie Music History Podcast. I'm Chip Shell, and today we have two guests in our alternative podcast studio. We have a returning guest, Ron Guzek. Thanks again for coming back.
Thank you.
And Dickie Buckel, first time. You're in every band there is. Everybody knows your name.
That's right. I got to keep moving.
That's right.
Everybody knows his name.
So we wanted to talk to you guys, obviously, because of the Cows and some other stuff that you've been in over the years. Dickie, I know that's a long list for you, but we're going to cover a little bit of everything.
Let's try.
Let's do that.
Okay. All right.
So, first of all, how did you guys meet?
Sled riding.
We found out many, many years later that we were sled riding buddies on 24th and State. Well, I was 6, 5.
And then the loops, too, which was
and
26th
the loops, yeah.
and State, off Academy.
He lived in,
okay.
And we used to ride sled, and we didn't know each other.
Yeah.
Did you go to the same schools?
No, nothing like that.
Never, not even high school or anything?
No. Right, but we're somehow connected always.
Right.
We're very... always butting heads on things that don't count.
Right.
And everything that counts not. Like Dickie always says, Ron, get over it. I'm a keyboard player. Dick's a guitar player. He goes, get over it. Guitar's one.
Yeah.
And so where'd you go to school? High school?
St. John's and Academy.
And then Academy and Dickie?
I went to St. Joe's, Prep, and Academy.
Okay.
But not when he was there.
Yeah, right.
You're how far apart?
Couple of years.
Couple years.
Yeah.
I did 2 years Prep, 2 years Academy.
Oh, okay. All right.
My dad looked at my second-year report card from Prep, and he said, I don't have to pay for this. You can do this for free.
Right. Were you both playing in high school?
Yes.
In regular bands?
I was playing the Wyco dance,
right.
teen dance circuit, and I think Ronnie was doing nightclubs at 12.
Yeah. Well, I used to sit outside on summer nights and listen to a gospel church because I loved hearing the organ and the choir.
Sure.
And I was kind of interested in classical music. I was studying Bach stuff, so forth. But pop was just a lot more fun.
Sure, yeah.
And so then I started getting a few gigs by myself, like Pope Hotel. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
No.
It was an all Afro-American club, and I lied about my age, and I was scared to go in there and play. But you play a few licks, and people would applaud.
Where was this?
Like, what, 14th
French?
and Sass? Or French?
French, I think.
Yeah, like about
It's
14th
famous.
and French.
The Pope Hotel.
It was a African-American
Yeah, sure.
hotel.
And they would applaud a lick.
Right.
You do a cool lick on a tune. They had a B3 there. And I went, this is great. I do the dumbest little lick. And everybody's like, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So, I was kind of a hero down there. And I played the Pilot House, which was Rocco's,
Right.
real rough joint.
Right.
And eventually, my first real band was Applesauce at the Spot Cafe.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
And so before we get to Applesauce, you're playing, Dickie, at Wyco dances, which I hear a lot from musicians your age.
Right.
Downtown Y and Glenwood?
Both, yeah.
Both. And who are you playing with? I know you were in Kelly's Cellar, right? Early
No,
days,
I
or
was
no?
in, my first band was called The Other Half.
Okay.
And it was a bunch of prep guys.
Okay.
Angelo Natali, who you've heard of.
Sure.
And who else would be in it? I don't think you'd know anybody else.
So this is in high school.
In high school, 10th
Yeah.
grade, yeah.
And you're
9th
playing
to 10th grade.
Wyco dances.
Wyco dances and other places. St. John's Lutheran had a teen dance we used to play. And yeah, just all that, If it was a good night, the band got $10. $2 a piece. Right. Our poor old dads moved our equipment for us.
Right.
I remember Mr. Natali, who was an Erie police officer, and my dad would say, you going to take this one or am I doing it? My dad was my roadie.
Yeah.
When I was talking to Tony Stefanelli, he was talking about playing places like the Mermaid Inn when he was in high school, too. And he said back then you didn't even have a PA. You just played out of your amps.
Out of your amp, right.
So there wasn't a lot of stuff to lug around.
I got in another band in high school, and we landed a 2-week engagement at a place called Yogi's.
Yeah,
now, I was a senior. I was a senior in high school, and so we play it's 5 nights till 2 in the morning. So I play the first night. Okay, I get up. I go to school the next day. I play the second night.
Slowing down.
Falling asleep in school. By Friday night, my dad's knocking on my bedroom door, and he says, "Hey, they got this building up on the hill. You thinking about going there sometime?"
I heard of Yogi. So back then, there was music.
Yeah, I was 17 years old.
And there was live music 5 days a week?
Oh, yeah.
Those
7.
days, we used to work 7 nights a week a lot
Yeah.
of times.
Oh, really?
And do a wedding, maybe. There were no such thing. One-nighters were like, oh.
Right.
It was an actual job.
Yeah.
We had an actual job. I remember one time, and I won't take up too much time on this.
You're fine.
My dad was a funny guy. So I'm playing 5 nights a week, and he goes, "You know what?" And I'm waking up at 2 in the morning or 2 in the afternoon, and my family's all down there, and I'm in my bathroom drinking coffee, smoking a cigarette. And your dad, I'm getting sick of this. You lay around here all day, and you go, he said, "You're going to start paying room and board. That's it. I've had it." He said, $20 a week. And I said, I pulled out a wad of cash, and I go, "You want the whole month?"
Yeah.
He said, "You make too much damn money."
Yeah.
But it was a job.
Yeah, that's
it
what
was
I've
a
heard.
viable job. We had good jobs.
Sure.
Playing just music.
I remember Chuck Leone, a keyboard player.
Sure.
He said his dad was on his case about, "Are you going to get a real job?" Chuck goes, "Hey, Dad, I made whatever this week." His dad goes, "No, you didn't."
So were you taking lessons at where?
I have, well, it all started for me in February of 1964, of course. Ed Sullivan, the Beatles. I said, that's it.
Gotcha.
So I have 2 uncles who are both musicians in Erie,
Right.
Live musicians. Sammy Rizzo was a guitar player,
Right.
and my uncle Tony Luciano
Right.
played just about everything, but he was mostly a saxophone player.
Gotcha. Right.
Okay, and they both taught me some, and then I just started playing with these high school bands, and then when I got in Ruby Port, which was a more serious, more professional band, I went to Basil Ronzetti for a year or 2, and he got me all the basics. So.
And you joined Ruby Port after school?
Yeah, it was 1971.
So that's when they formed.
Right.
Yeah, right. Okay. So you were one of that original group.
Right.
Before that, you were in Crossroads.
Crosstown.
Crosstown Rhythm and Blues, right?
Crosstown Rhythm and Blues.
Which kind of had a resurgence
later,
10 years ago or so.
In fact, I want to talk to you about that because I might want to bring Bill in here.
Yeah.
And we can talk about that.
Bill Miller?
Bill DePlacido.
Oh, Bill DePlacido. Okay.
He was one of the original members of Crosstown, and it was a nice band.
Some of that band was a little older. Dickie's mom had mentioned this to me. And Dickie was hanging out with them in their pad, their house. They actually had a place to hang.
Crosstown?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dickie was in a bedroom with, I think, accompanied by a girl, and all these guys hanging around. A lot of them are a little older, and then older yet that weren't in the band.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, there's a knock on the door.
We were discussing schoolwork.
And Dickie's mom
Nothing was going on in there.
Pulls him out by the ear.
Everything I've heard about you, Dickie, is coming true right now.
No.
Perfect.
How did she find me?
Moms can smell it.
I don't know. But she comes in this room. It's obviously dark, and there's all these guys and all these chicks. Of course, me and this girl were just talking about homework.
Going
and
over
stuff.
Right.
She flips on the lights, and they yell, "Dickie! Get out here!"
Well, after you and the girl get caught, and you're in...
We were doing homework.
That's right, doing homework. You're in Ruby Port at the time? Or
no, I was in Crosstown.
You were in Crosstown. That was before Ruby Port.
Right.
I mean, these years are pretty close together. How long did you play in Ruby Port?
71 to like 73.
Okay. And that's when you guys got together.
Started playing together.
Right.
Yeah. And that's when this happened.
That's when this happened. Applesauce was the first?
No.
Well, yeah, you were. Technically, we were Applesauce.
Yeah.
Because you didn't. But Dennis wanted a new name.
Yeah, I was playing with Dennis and Dave
Your brother.
Kolsky. Yeah, Dave Kolsky on drums. Terry Smith.
Okay.
Bill Arnold was in it when I was there.
Yeah, but it was Terry Bob Lipinski on bass, and then Grutt and Bob Lipinski ended up in the service, drafted, and Bill Arnold took Terry's place too, and Mike Bielski was on drums. So it was like people coming and going all the time. And then after the Spot, it got too busy and a lot of fights.
The Spot was a bar where
on like West Lake Road, is it 21st and East Avenue ish?
Oh, okay,
around there.
And it was a kind of rough.
I've never been there.
Yeah, it was kind of a rough place. So the guy who owned the place, real sweetheart, said, "I want you guys to get a different job," and he got us a job at the Democratic Club, on Upper Peach.
Right.
We played there for quite a while, and then all of a sudden the place burnt down. But the firemen must have known it was going to burn down because they covered all of our equipment with a protective sheathing. So the whole place burnt down except our equipment and the stage.
You're kidding.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And I went up with Dennis because Dennis was always a very go-for-it person. And the place is in flames. And the fireman looked away. He goes, our equipment's in there. I got to go see what's going on. And he ran the burning building to save our equipment.
Yeah.
And he came out and he goes, no, they saved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Walt C. 3 Oregon was in there from home because I was using his Oregon.
Oh, okay. So it's a good thing they saved.
I remember that fire. We drove by it. I remember it was up on. Was that on Peach Street?
Yeah.
So you weren't in the band yet?
No, I wasn't in the
Okay.
band. No.
Right.
So then we ended up somehow with a band called Affinity playing in Pittsburgh, in Meadville, doing a lot of college all-nighter stuff, and we had an apartment down there and stuff. It was real nice. A great band with Mike Radcliffe.
What type of music are you playing at this time?
At that time, we were playing just pop music that was
Top
popular.
40.
Okay.
Yeah, top
All
40. And then that broke up because there were problems with communications. People were going to the wrong gigs.
That
Going to the wrong gigs.
Yeah, it
That's
wasn't
some
like
bad
that.
communication.
Yeah, I thought we were supposed to be here. No, we weren't here. All that. So that fell apart, and Dennis and I were looking, and we saw Angelo Natale and Dickie and Ruby Port.
In Ruby Port. Gotcha. All right.
Angelo, there's a little backstory there. Angelo and I had planned to leave Ruby Port, and we were going to actually go to Jackson, Mississippi, where my sister lived, and her husband worked at a recording studio.
Okay.
It's called Malico Records. And I had sent tapes down there, and they liked some of the stuff they heard. So Angela and I were going to go down there and see if we could get something going. And then Ronnie and Dennis approached us. Well, a bird in the hand.
Right.
Who knows what's going to happen in Mississippi?
Right.
So we opted to go with Ronnie and Dennis.
And at the time, had you come? I've heard the famous story about how the cows were named as you all sat around. But
that's when it happened. Yeah.
Oh, that's when it happened? I mean, from the very beginning, you didn't go by some other name before it was the cows.
Applesauce.
You did go by applesauce for a little while?
A couple weeks, yeah.
Okay. All right.
And we were playing the Cowshed.
I'm not sure if the cows or applesauce are better names. I mean,
You're right, I know.
the cows definitely is a better name.
But the cows got very popular.
Yeah.
And people would bring all sorts of things in. The cow.
Stuffed cows.
Yeah.
And we had
stuff
all
like that. And it got really like a thing. It branded itself as something else.
I read that you guys literally had like a trunk full of stuff.
Stuffed animals, yeah.
Is that what it was? Mostly stuffed animals? Stuffed cows?
Things cow-related things.
Yeah, and all kinds of jokes.
Yeah.
All kinds of jokes.
Yeah. Outstanding in their field, all that
Sure. So how long does that go on?
Well, it
was all over the place.
It was the original lineup was Ronnie and Dennis and Angelo and myself.
Right.
We played a few places around here. Then we went to Pittsburgh. And then we came back here, and Angelo decided to leave and go with a band, some people he knew that were
religious
in Akron.
band.
It wasn't a religious band at the
wasn't?
time.
Oh, okay.
No.
It was Ma Brown and then Clockwise?
He went to Akron with a band with Bob Tome. And,
oh, okay. Right.
And that's where the religious thing started.
Yep.
And Ronnie and Dennis, I think you did a duo, didn't you?
Yeah, we did that too, a peanut butter and jelly thing.
Yeah.
A couple nights a week. Just
Peanut butter and jelly.
And then then they called me up and say, hey, we're going to get the band back together. You want to do it? And I said, yeah. And that's when it really became
the cows.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Bobby Berger. He was playing bass and singing with Eddie C. and the Bees.
Yep.
At
Yogi's.
Right.
All
right.
And Dave Grholski.
Okay.
Bobby goes, hey, Bob, we want you to play in our band. And we're playing here and there. And we're really cool. And you should play. And Bobby goes, what? And leave all this?
So you guys at that point are the two of you, Bob Berger. Is Bill Arnold in the band or no?
No.
No, not yet.
Dave Groholski.
Bob Berger.
And
Dennis.
Dennis, yeah.
And Dennis.
Yeah. And that's when we started getting creative. Dickie and I always prided the cows as if we had to do a cover, we would do it. And some tunes you don't improve upon, like Roundabout, things like that. We would do
a big
it
song.
like nothing.
Right.
It was no big deal to us. But besides that, we always looked for ways to be creative. So we always look, if we're going to learn a tune or two, we'd know it really well, so then we could get there and start doing things with it.
Sure.
Adding harmony, and it grew to a really complicated arrangements of things. I'll send you some.
How often were you practicing?
Every day.
Every day.
Really?
Whenever we could.
Every day, and played 5 nights a week, yeah.
Yeah,
really?
After the gig, we'd get permission to stay in the club and rehearse.
Or go in before they opened, yeah. We were always
practicing. So it was your job, like you said.
It was a full-time job.
You guys didn't have any other jobs at the time?
No.
Okay.
And it was at that time we played a place I remember on 10th Estate, Aristocrat Lounge.
Aristocrat.
In, there,
Aristocrat, wasn't
Right.
it?
in the Commerce Building?
Yeah, and one of the things we did there was an oldies set. Okay, it was really good, but it was long.
It's an hour.
And we never had an out. And people go, "Are you guys going to play anything new?"
Yeah.
And we go, "We can't stop."
All these songs were segued into the next one.
Oh, okay.
We
gotcha.
rehearsed it forever, and it was seamless, and it was perfect, but we can't stop.
It was like there was no out.
At that time, what was oldies?
50s.
50s?
Mostly 50s.
Okay.
Stagger
Elvis,
Lee, Elvis. Bobby did Why Must a Teenager
Teenager in Love.
in Love?
It was was it an hour long?
At least an hour and 10 minutes, I think.
And you have
too much.
3 vocalists.
More. Everybody sang.
Everybody sang?
Everybody.
Just about.
Gret didn't sing.
He could sing, but we didn't use him really. So
I
much
was
as he
mostly
sang.
background at that time. Bobby and Dennis mostly. You sang a couple.
Yeah, I sang 1 or 2 songs. Dick sang 1 or 2. And
Maybe.
Bobby and Dennis used to go back and forth about who would sing what songs, and they had a percentage thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah.
Joey and Dickie and I get this percentage of songs, and they get that, and someone wants, I want to sing that song. Oh, I want to sing that song. Well, you're up in your percentage, so I get,
I bet.
Rather
Yeah. Were there some that fit you better, Dickie?
Well,
singing-wise?
I have I'm a tenor.
Okay.
A second tenor. I have a higher voice, so
All right.
that worked for me, as opposed to everybody else was kind of a baritone.
What were some of the tunes that you sang back then?
What did I sing way back when?
Well,
Who was singing Roundabout?
Oh no, that was Dennis.
That's high.
Are you musical at all? Do you understand how music works?
Yeah,
A little
plays.
bit.
He plays.
You play. All right. So Roundabout's in E.
Okay.
Minor.
But Dennis, E minor. The intro, which is the,
Steve Howe part. Right. Yep.
it's all in E. It has to be in E. It can be in no other key. But Dennis doesn't have that kind of voice.
Right.
He's a baritone. So we opened the song in the key of the record, and then we switched to C sharp minor.
Oh, geez.
And some of the times I was playing left-hand bass, C sharp minor, bum 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 bum, but that bass line.
Yeah.
On my left hand, and C sharp minor was like, oh, some of the things that was silly, but we always pulled it off. It was good.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing.
That's some complicated stuff that requires a lot of practice, I imagine.
Yeah.
So
I don't know how well it worked, but we did it.
Yeah, and then later on, you did it in E minor, I think,
I don't recall that.
with
but
Bobby and Bill Arnold.
maybe.
That band, maybe.
Maybe.
But
We did the other one. Take a straight and stronger course.
yeah,
yours is no disgrace.
We did that one.
Right.
and we just all whatever made sense we
Sure.
would do and try and do things with it. We always went somewhere with the song if we could.
Okay.
Even we did a thing with this is so ahead of its date. Dennis was always ahead of his time. He had a tape player on stage. Okay.
Yeah, this is
And
great.
we were doing that locomotive. Breath.
Locomotive
And at
breath.
the end, let's extend it with guitar solo.
Sure.
Rock out with it. That thing. And you know how like the end of Layla, or there's all those guitars going on. It just sounds like whining cats in a dryer.
Right.
know? So Dick's,
Poor Dickie.
we only have one guitar. So Dick's doing a great solo, but we could use the other sound.
Yeah.
And it worked. Dennis had charging elephants. And he
On
would-
a tape.
On a tape, and he'd play it. So while Dick's doing the solo, and when we really had the crescendo, you'd have...
Were people coming to you afterwards saying, what was that noise?
Oh, they loved it.
They loved it.
They didn't tell the difference.
Okay. All right. All right. It seemed like you
some-
had a lot of good time.
Listen to some of those Allman Brothers solos.
Sure,
It sounds
yeah.
like cats and elephants.
I got you. Yeah. The famous picture that unfortunately is on my screen right now of the four of you with no shirts on and the Burger King.
It won't go away.
I know. I mean, tell me the story of this picture. I mean, you
That was
have,
kind of heavy then.
Yeah.
yeah.
We
None
had
of you
a,
were heavy at this point.
We had
Dickie,
a
you were
booking
12
agent.
or something in this picture.
Exactly. I was 19 then.
Okay.
And I couldn't gain weight. I used to go eat a spaghetti dinner with bread and salad at 4 a.m. I couldn't gain weight.
All right.
But anyway, we had a booking agent in Pittsburgh, and he said, if you guys wore uniforms.
And horns.
No, that was the other one.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
If you guys wore uniforms, I could get you more money. I could get you like $400 more a week if you wore uniforms. Wow. Get me a picture with uniforms.
And this is the picture. Yeah. All right. I'll post this for everybody to see, but they are not wearing anything other than
Boxer shorts?
boxer shorts and Burger King
Yeah, Burger King.
crowns. Yeah.
And so we sent it to the agent.
You didn't get any other gigs, did
We
you?
did not get
No.
any gigs with those outfits.
Were you guys playing out of town?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot?
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Cheshire Cat was one of the places we played.
Yeah.
One that was fun with that band, we used 2 drum sets, which is kind of nice. So at times Dennis would play drums and Angela would play drums as well.
Oh, at the same time.
Yeah. It was really, really great.
Very
sound.
Allman Brothers-esque.
Right.
Yeah. And it always looks great, too.
Sure.
To see 2 guys in sync and so forth.
All right, so you played at Yogi's, the Spot Cafe. We said the Aristocrat Lounge, Lombardo's,
Yes.
18th and Sass, Lombardo's.
18th and Sass.
By the way, Yogi's, one night we were playing there, still with Angelo, and I looked off stage because I was always practicing. I never, just always practicing.
Yeah.
I looked up and I saw Karen, and I fell madly in love. We've been going on 50 years.
50 years. I've heard that
50
story.
That's
before.
Yogi's.
Yes, that's right. Karen was in there for 15 minutes or something like that. So it's quite an impression she made on
We,
you.
I was in Rubyport, just to kind of glue this all together.
Yeah.
I was in Rubyport. We were playing till 4:30 in the morning, which I'm sure was not legal.
Right.
And all the bands would come to see us because they got done at 2.
At 2. Oh.
And we still had two more, and that's kind of how the connection happened with Ronnie and Dennis. And then I remember I went to a party,
Yeah, Kelso Beach.
Kelso Beach, and you were there, and you were playing a tape, and I really liked it, and I said I want to play with those guys.
Yeah.
And it all kind of came together that way, but it.
Yeah, and I got to know Rubyport also because Paul Yoakum was
Paul
my
was his
brother-in-law.
brother.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Coincidence of
Sister.
yeah.
Gotcha. And back then, it seemed like there was a lot of camaraderie amongst musicians. You kind of got to know
Yeah.
each other.
very much so.
Afterwards, like you said, you'd go out to the Calabrese Club or the Winter Inn or wherever, and you'd meet other musicians, I take it, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And one of the common threads that always kept Dick and I together and whoever else was in the band was, you would think was the music, which it kind of was, but
Yeah.
more than that was the humor.
Okay, sure. Yeah, right.
It was fun. We
Yeah.
laughed.
We laughed a lot.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's very important.
It is. It's real important.
It's real important.
Dickie, were you in Holy Smoke, too,
Yeah.
for a short time or right
Yeah,
around that same time?
my last year out of high school,
Okay.
I didn't have a job. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was living at home, and I was playing with Holy Smoke, which was a great band. Janice Wassel, who's now Janice Sands, and Bill Burdick and Doug Klein and Rick Baldwin.
Did that last very long?
I left to join Rubyport, and
Okay.
I think they carried on for another year or so.
All right.
Janice now lives. I went to high school with Janice.
She lives in Vegas now.
She lives in Vegas.
Sings
yeah.
down there. I'd love to have her on the podcast sometime.
Yeah, oh yeah, you should
Yeah,
get her.
yeah.
She does a Cher impression that's killer.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Wow.
she has the outfit, the hair, and everything.
Okay.
It's killer.
Well,
yeah,
Put me in touch.
Janice is great.
Yeah. So what happens after that for you guys? I mean, the Cows, obviously, like I started this episode by saying it's one of the longest standing bands because of the reunions that you've had for so many years.
Yeah.
And then you did have a revolving door of folks that went through the band over the years. Ron, you eventually moved, right?
Yeah. But the people, I don't think I'll forget anyone.
Okay,
There was
good.
my brother Dennis,
Yep.
Dickie, or Richard, as he is known now.
In my real job.
Yeah,
Okay.
Angelo Natelli, me, Bill Arnold, Joe Celerino, Chuck Leone, who's a blast
Leone.
to play with, and
Okay.
very talented, Paul Gall, Joey Celerino, Denny Fabrizi. I don't think I skipped anyone.
Krajolski?
Yeah, I got
You
Greg
got
in there.
him, right?
Dave Grott was a great drummer, a rock drummer.
Right.
Before this stuff, now and then we'd play some stuff when it was like the psychedelic era. And before you mic drums, he would beat the drums so loud. There were gigs where I'd look over and his hands were bleeding and blood would be flying.
Wow.
And he just kept beating.
Yeah.
It was like, wow, that's
And-
cool, you know?
Grutt is, we call him Grutt.
Yeah.
Dave, we call Grutt. He is my height. He's quite a bit stockier, a little stockier. Solid muscle. Do you know what a Leslie is?
I do.
He
Those
could
are
carry
rather
it
big.
by
Yeah.
himself.
He would move the Leslie by himself.
By himself.
It's a good guy to have in the band.
Yes.
Yeah, especially if you're a keyboard player.
There'd be three of us on one side of the Hammond.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Grutt on the other side. Going, are you guys done?
So he was a drummer. Angelo was your drummer.
Right.
Joey Celerino.
Joe
Joe
Cel-
Celerino
Joe
was the drummer
Celerino
too.
was
Right,
the
right,
drummer,
right.
yeah.
So how does it end before it starts doing the reunion thing?
Well, we did a lot of recording,
Okay.
and
Originals.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
And we always doing our own arrangements or recording. We Agora in Cleveland.
Upstairs.
Upstairs was the recording studio.
Okay.
Downstairs was the nightclub.
Oh, I didn't know
And
that.
they had wires going down so they could record people live.
Oh, okay.
With closed-circuit TV.
Yeah.
And there we recorded Somebody Like You and Come Tomorrow. Chuck played with us in Come Tomorrow
Okay.
in
Chuck
Cleveland.
Leone.
Chuck Leone.
Yeah.
And then we also recorded Dancer in Columbus.
Columbus. That was a marathon.
Yeah.
We did that in we played Saturday night and drove from Cincinnati to Columbus and recorded it in one day, mixed and mastered it
Yeah.
all in one day.
Enough for a whole album or just
No,
there's
just one song.
One song. But
Right.
it was a song I wrote as a joke, because we were constantly looking for ideas for new tunes,
Yeah.
originals and stuff that might be good. And I had this different things that I went, this is just a joke. There was some disco going on and stuff. And so, because guys, listen to this, just kidding around. And it's like, afternoon, nothing more or less to do. Sit and wait for the evening. Then comes the night. And the chorus was like, come and dance, dancer, come and dance. Which is very catchy because it sounds just like everything's
Hit
coming
the
up.
lights.
Yeah,
Da, da,
da.
Gotcha.
Everything's
Right, right.
But, and Joey and Dickie and Dennis loved it. I go, no. So we worked up an arrangement, and everybody loved it. So we put it out.
It was actually on the radio.
on the
It
radio
was.
and stuff,
We
yeah.
got royalty checks.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, yeah. I got up to and including $4 one year.
Whoa.
But people don't know this. Benny Goodman, I think it was, one of the things you had to do in the orchestra was review any song that came in to record. And he would take the songs that mostly everybody hated in the band, and those were his hits.
Oh, really?
Louis Armstrong had to do a filler tune in a recording session in Chicago, and he said, this stupid song I had to record, I still hate it to this day. It was Wonderful World.
Oh, nice.
And he thought it was
Yeah.
the dumbest thing he ever heard.
Right, right.
But that's a historical thing. It's like musicians don't know what people like.
How many 45s did you record?
2?
Just two?
Two.
Yeah, I've
I
seen
think
them.
two, but we recorded a whole bunch of stuff, but not necessarily.
We only did a pressing for 2.
Yeah.
Why not a whole album?
Yeah, I don't know. The cost.
Sure.
Yeah.
But we had all kinds of tunes. Some of those were great.
And you were playing those part of your shows, obviously,
Yeah.
mixing them in.
Yeah.
You probably got used to seeing them. You probably sold your records at the shows.
I think we did. Yeah.
Yeah?
Sometimes.
They were being sold at the record bar,
Oh, they were. Okay,
Yeah.
right.
which was the record store.
Yeah, Lee Taylor.
Right.
He's a guitar player for
For Lincoln, right? Yep. Right.
And we had them. The song played in Cincinnati. I know we were down there. And
That's cool.
were we selling them there?
I'm not sure. But I took that song apart the other day. I went, boy, that was really a great musical thing. A dancer, yeah.
Yeah.
Had a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, it's not the thing you can just sit down and play. You got to...
Yeah.
Is there a link to that somewhere I can...
I'll get you all this stuff.
Cool.
I have all that, but not with you because I'm on
that's
vacation.
fine. Yeah, I'd love to include that.
There may be some links online, but I can get you all of it.
All right, good.
Yeah.
All right, so what happens next?
Dennis and I never got to know Walt. He was always this enigma that was, impressed
Your brother,
me.
Walt?
Yeah, my brother Walt. And Orange Color Sky.
Yeah.
And they wanted to go 2 keyboard players.
Oh, that's
so
right.
I said, well, I'd like to get to know Walt, and it'd be nice. So I went on the road with Dennis with Orange Colored Sky with Karen and our daughter.
That's
We used to go across country snowstorms with our youngest daughter, Julie. No cell phones, no nothing.
Sure.
A little orange Datsun. It was freezing and stuff. So we did that for a year, and Bill Arnold and Joey joined.
Bill Arnold and
Joe.
Denny Fabrizi.
Yeah, and somewhere you got Joe instead of Grut because Grut hurt
Well,
himself.
Grut got hurt. He hurt his wrist and he couldn't hold a drumstick. And the funny story about that is our bass player, Bob Berger, was dating a girl named Connie Mason who lived next door to Joe Salarino.
Because the cows are the patent place of Erie.
Gotcha. All right.
And we were using all these drummers. We would have a different drummer every night and all this, and we were going crazy. And it was going to be months before Grut could come back. And Bob Berger said, well, I hear this kid practicing.
This Joe guy.
Yeah. And he said, and Chuck Leone said, oh, I know who that is. Oh, Denny Fabrizi left the band because he got in a motorcycle accident and couldn't play for 6 months.
Gotcha.
So he got Chuck Leone. So I played with him. His name is Joe Salarino, but he's very young. He was 16 years old at the time. So
and you guys are in your 20s at this point. Right?
Yeah. And it's quite an obstacle to get a young person like that in a bar to play. So we arranged to meet his parents and him. He was interested. He was 16. We told him he was going to make money. He's like, wow. And I said, we work 5, 6, 7 nights a week. You're going to be making this every week. He couldn't believe it. So, yeah, he was into it. And so we go to meet his parents because obviously we had to cooperate. And they said, well, yeah. And they came down and heard us. And they said, well, yeah, we're nice guys. And then we had to go to the high school because he still hadn't finished high school.
Sure, right.
So he had one more year in high school. And he went to the school and he said, I have an opportunity like a work release.
What school is this?
Academy.
Okay, all right.
So I have this opportunity to work, but I'll be up late at night. Can I come in? And they said, well, you have enough credits to graduate. So, yeah, you have to take 2 classes. Just come in the afternoon. We'll let you do it. As to my knowledge, that is the only time that has ever happened.
Right.
They let him go to school at noon.
Wow.
And play with us. He played with us at night. And
eventually, Dennis and I came back, and so all musicians moved one band over.
Oh, yeah, no, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Then Dennis and I came back.
That's right.
Let's
yeah.
go back with Dennis and Ronnie. All musicians moved one band to the left. And so there was Joey and Dick and Bobby Berger and me and Dennis.
Okay.
And one of the gigs we played was at Academy, and Joey was still going to Academy in the afternoon.
Okay.
And we brought the house down. One of the reasons we brought the house down is because the principal was Donardo.
Don DiNardo.
Okay.
But when we went there, he was a counselor. But anyway, we're doing this for the assembly at Academy, and we noticed that Donardo was in the audience. And Dennis said, oh, hi, he's principal now.
He's not principal now.
Yeah.
When we went here, he was the janitor.
No, Dennis said, hey, you made principal. Yeah, wow, when we were here, you were cleaning toilets.
And you said that on the mic.
Yeah.
Great.
The whole place went crazy.
They were like, yeah. And then after the show, the poor audio-video guys, we're in this little room on the side of the stage, and people are banging on the door.
They were like the Beatles or something. They were trying to knock down the dressing room doors.
Wow.
After that, Joe said he couldn't eat lunch in the cafeteria.
Oh, really?
No, they wouldn't leave him alone. He had to go find a quiet place to eat lunch.
Yeah, he's eating the band room.
All right. Wow.
So that was.
Yeah, we're happening. And then we did a couple concerts, too. Richie Havens.
Yeah, was that with Joe or Grut?
I think that was with Grub, but then we also did Quicksilver.
We
Maybe.
did Quicksilver.
So
we
you
opened
for both of them. Where at?
Gannon.
Gannon.
Oh, okay. Richie
The
and
Audi.
Jack Gannon,
Yeah.
right? And Quicksilver Messenger Service at Gannon too.
Yeah,
Right.
but
All right.
of Gannon concerts, we were in Cincinnati, I think it was. We were going down an elevator, and we got in the elevator to our hotel room, and it was Skunk Baxter.
Sure.
Doobie
Guitar
Brothers
player
and Steely Dan.
Right.
And we were talking to him and stuff. We said, hey, where are you playing next? He goes, Erie, Pennsylvania. Gannon. We said, oh, hey, would you do us a favor? We had cow T-shirts. So do us a favor, and when you play there, will you wear a cow T-shirt? He goes, yeah, sure. So we took it up to his room. Hey, thanks. Talked a little bit and so on. And then later some people told us, oh, yeah, Doobie Brothers were great, but Skunk had a cow T-shirt.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow. You guys still have those shirts?
No.
They don't fit.
Somewhere.
There's
Joey,
pictures.
though, yeah.
There's pictures of
Yeah,
them.
I've seen them. Yeah.
We couldn't fit. I mean, you look at that picture.
Right. Right.
50
right.
pounds later.
Yeah, sure. I bet you there's some fans out there that probably have some stuff though.
Probably.
Yeah,
Probably.
yeah.
A lot
Yeah,
of people
I think
have
so.
the records.
When
Yeah.
I've seen the records. Like when you guys have done the reunions over the years, do you see those familiar faces? Do people come up to you
yeah.
and say,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, great. It
absolutely.
became a yearly event.
Right.
It was just great.
for how long before COVID hit?
I think
Obviously.
the first one was 92, wasn't it? At Kings Rook?
Yeah, when I moved back to Erie in '92.
Yeah.
Okay.
At Kings Rook.
Since then, and we've missed the last two.
Well,
that
one or
correct?
two because of COVID.
We didn't do one. We didn't do one last year, and we didn't do one this year. Did we do one last year?
No, that was COVID.
That was COVID. Where
2020.
Joey got COVID and everything. got
No,
shut
this
down.
year was COVID. Joey got COVID.
But you've been doing them at the Colony?
Yeah.
No, the year before that, we did the two. We did a Friday and Saturday at Bullfrog.
At Bullfrog. Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
All right. That's the one where I saw Walt playing with Ron in that picture, right?
Yeah, with the guitar. I was showing
with
him the guitar.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's something Dickie always asks that I bring.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Listen to the previous episode to
that's
see why
right.
Ron's lying right now. And so you said you went out of town. You lived out of town for how long?
Yeah, I went. Well, it started. I went with Ronnie and Walt in Orange Colored Sky.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
Ronnie and Walt, and I played with them for about a year.
Okay.
And then Orange Colored Skies went their. Everybody went their separate ways. And I was married. I had just gotten married, and my wife was about to have a baby. So I wanted to be somewhere where I'd be home.
Right.
So we came back to Erie, and I played with a group you may know called Wave.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Tysons.
The Tysons, yes.
Right.
So I played with them for a year. My son was a year old, and we moved back to California, went to Southern California, where I hooked up with Ronnie and Dennis again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Karen and I went down to Southern California, figured we'd just try it. And then eventually the kids thought it was home, so we never left, even though we love Erie.
Right.
you
Right.
know, and stuff. So I was there. Joey Celerino and I did 3 years of duo in Laguna Beach. It
Wow.
was a blast.
He was out there too.
It was very fun. Yeah, but
He came out
left.
later, yeah.
Yeah, and he left.
Is he back in town?
Joe's here, yeah.
Yeah,
he
Joe's
still
here.
plays with us.
Okay.
I was in Southern California for 3.5 or 4 years. And when I was playing with Orange Colored Sky, I met this guy named John Jackman. Most people know him as Ricky Zucchini. And he has a band called Ricky and the Red Streaks.
Okay.
And he was at one of our rehearsals for Orange Colored Sky. He came up to me and said, if I ever need a guitar player, would you be interested? And I said, yeah, because I think we knew Orange Colored Sky was done. And I went home, had a baby, came back to Southern California, was playing there, and 5 years later, John called me up and said, I need a guitar player.
Ricky Zucchini.
Ricky Zucchini.
Okay. All right.
Ricky and the Red Streaks.
All right. And so you went with them?
I went to Sacramento, and I played with them for 9 or 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And it was, they were into the Nevada circuit,
And the rodeo stuff.
Yeah, and the rodeos, they did.
Was it country?
Oh, no. That's everybody thinks,
Yeah.
it must be country. Oh, no, it was
Humorous.
hard. Yeah, funny stuff, rock and roll.
Okay. All right.
One of the songs we did, and you will edit this out, right?
Sure.
It's hard to say I love you when you're sitting on my face.
I'm keeping that in.
No.
Put it with Walt's comments.
That's right. I'm gonna put Walt's voice to that. Yeah.
It's hard to say I love you When you're sitting on my face.
People were probably like, wait, what did he just say?
You're going to edit that.
Yeah, that's right.
The Cowboys loved it.
I bet.
So, yeah, that was 10 years, and then turned out to be 92 or 93, and I moved back here, and that's when the reunions started.
Yeah. And at that time, I was in L.A. doing different things, and different recording and making friends with certain people, and we did a bunch of originals at the Village Recorder, which is real famous.
Okay.
Of Stones, Phil Collins.
Fleetwood Mac had the studio built to record
Tusk.
Okay. After they did Rumors, of course, they could do anything they wanted.
Right.
So they had this studio built. Yeah, I put my guitar amp in Stevie Nicks' vocal booth.
Nice. All right.
So I got Dick to come down and do tracks there, too.
Okay.
They liked my writing, the engineer there, and so on downtime, we got free time. In the studio, it was $200 an hour at that time.
Which is
and there were about 5 studios there. It was really up. You couldn't get better.
Where is this?
In Santa Monica.
In Santa Monica.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Village Recorder.
Yep.
So we did that, and then Dick ended up going back to Sacramento and so forth.
I went to Sacramento.
And I made really good friends with a guy named Robin Crow at that time, and then recorded one time a month in Boulder.
Okay.
Because I have a redone barn up in the Rocky Mountains outside of Boulder. We can rehearse up there and then go down and record. The producer was the guy that produced The Boxer by Paul Simon. Those guys,
sure.
You know that?
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You know the snare in The Boxer?
Oh, yeah, sure.
In the chorus?
Yeah.
So what they did, it was in New York, and they had a mic about in the 50th floor, and they slammed a snare on the first floor. So they heard, that's how they got that echo in the stairwell in New York. Because I asked them, how did you get that snare?
Yeah.
You know. But in Boulder, I went there, we made a deal. I went out to see Robin in this barn. It was beautiful. Concert, 3-tier stage. Everything. It was great.
Yeah.
A little potbelly stove. That was the only heat. It was snowing outside and cold.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And we ate. So he put out the dishes, and we ate, and I'm looking to wash the dishes. He goes, oh, don't worry, Ron, don't worry about it. And he put the forks and spoons and the plates all down on the floor and called in the 3 dogs, and they licked them clean. And I went, I'm here for a month?
Yeah, right, yeah.
Okay.
And he's still got a studio today, right?
Oh, he's got the best studio.
A world-renowned studio.
Okay. In Nashville. I also recorded theirs on some of his stuff with Bella Fleck and John Anderson.
Wow.
You know, that's probably the nicest studio, I think. People all over the world rent it. It's unbelievable. 10 acres. Right. There's 4 studios maybe there.
All right.
Gourmet kitchens with gourmet cooks on call. Places overnight to stay. It's a
no dogs licking dishes.
No dogs licking dishes.
Okay.
You know.
All right.
Upgrade. Yeah. Definitely an upgrade.
Yeah,
so you stay in California for a long time, obviously, and just did you come back intentionally for the Cows reunions or to see Walt?
Well, we always came back to see Walt and friends and
right.
so on, and we just started doing the Cow reunion.
Kind of coincided. Yeah.
Dennis first had the idea, and that first one, they all were great.
Yeah,
that first
they're great fun.
Yeah.
They're and the great thing about it is the people that come to see us.
Yeah, I think the band was always about 90% the audience.
Oh yeah,
and the music was we cared about it, but we know that's not what people just want to have fun.
Right.
Yeah.
So you saw a lot of the same people from way back in the day.
Amazing.
I love seeing you.
Just
I mean, I've heard so
amazing.
much about these. It seems like I'm always playing when you guys are doing the reunion.
Yeah.
You have all sorts of different people come and play. Is that right?
Yeah, it's an open invitation.
Okay.
We do one set, and then every musician in town is, what do you play?
Poor bass.
Poor bass?
Yeah, I play
All right.
badly.
We have a spot for that.
All right. Yeah.
We could never keep bass players. It was like Spinal Tap. The bass
Oh, really?
It spontaneously combusts.
Gotcha. All
So,
right.
92 till...
Just recently.
Yeah, we couldn't... We did one last year. Not this year, we didn't. Last year we did the 2 nights at Bullfrogs, and this year we couldn't do it. It's the first year we had to skip.
I was going to say, are there plans to continue
2 years we didn't do it? 2 years we did. 2020 was COVID.
No, wait a minute. You're wrong.
We're in 2021.
Yeah, we're in 2021.
Yeah.
Right. So you didn't do it this year.
Last year because of COVID. 2020 was
last year.
Yeah, we didn't come home because of the COVID.
Then we couldn't do it.
Yeah, so it was 2 years.
Okay.
So it's been 2 years?
Yeah. Yeah, it has been, actually, now that I think about it.
Who were some
Thank
of the
you, Karen. Even though you spoke, you're not getting paid.
That's right. Who were some of the folks that you had at the last one that you played?
At the last one,
Joey.
Bullfrogs.
we had Roger, who's sadly passed away.
Yeah.
Roger.
Great. Roger,
What's his last name? Roger, I can't remember.
he's blind. He was blind.
Okay.
And great drummer,
Roger-
great singer.
Roger Blair.
Roger Blair.
Great,
Roger Blair.
Great
Okay.
singer, drummer.
We had
He sat in.
Durf. We have
Yeah, Durf.
Kevin Bensink, who you might know as
Antoine Jack.
Antoine.
Danny McNamara.
Danny McNamara,
Well,
Terry Smith,
Nick Nardo.
Nick Nardo was
Nick
there?
Nardo,
Yeah.
Chuck
And-
Leone,
Anyone that can make it come.
Okay.
singers. Lots
Denny
of
Fabrizi, too.
Denny
Okay.
Fabrizi.
And he also brings out accordion. So if I do Piano Man, he does Piano Man, the accordion on Piano Man and the harmonica.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like a spot. We do a Denny, and now and then we'll do Mama's Got a Squeeze Box.
Okay,
as well.
sure.
Yeah.
Bob Seaman.
Bass.
Bob.
That's a bass player that you lock him in and you're good.
Right. Lots and lots of people. Joe was really the coordinator of that. He would go in the audience and go, "You want to sing?
Oh,
You want to
really?
play?" And he'd take it down, and then he'd come up with a list.
And who wants to sing what or
Who
play
wants
what?
to sing?
You know.
There were lots of people.
And Dickie,
Yeah.
you played in, I think, at least 3 bands that had female singers: Wave, Holy Smoke, Ruby Port. Am I missing one? Maybe Crosstown. I mean,
Crosstown, the new
We're-
Crosstown, yeah.
yeah, the new Crosstown with Paula.
With Paula, yeah.
I mean, at a Cows reunion, any female singers come out?
Oh, well, yeah,
We
Jesse.
actually had some of the Crosstown guys.
Jesse, which was
Oh,
also
Jesse
Jesse,
Buckel,
right?
Jesse Lene,
Chris and Buckel and Wild Thing.
Wild Thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesse.
Cool.
Yeah, we had.
Oh yeah, she's awesome.
I'm a fan of Jesse.
We had Roy Hollis,
Oh.
who was in Crosstown,
Yep.
and we had the Crosstown horn section, which was Bill DePlacido, Mike Kedzior.
Yep.
And we'd get the Ruby Porthorn section at times.
Yeah, we did. That's right.
Yeah, at the Colony.
Oh, okay.
There were so many people on stage.
Yeah.
The Ruby Port section was on the ground. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Dickie and Jesse, and I was doing "Give Me Some Lovin'" with a guitar. Dick loved that. And Danny Fabrizi, and
All right.
it was just, it's just a great big party.
Yeah.
Basically, we can practically back up anyone because if I'm playing left-hand bass,
Right.
as a trio, we work great together.
Yeah.
Like Dickie take a solo, and I can go wherever I want behind him because I know where idiom is in or modal passages, and Joel will follow me. So that's what we always love is just the trio.
Cool.
Because we could,
The chemistry.
Yeah,
the
right.
chemistry and musically we
You
could just
can't-
go places.
You can't learn it.
Can't
It's
learn
just
that.
there.
Yeah.
It's just you just know what to do. and
Who
where
else
to
do you play with today, Dickie?
All right. Right now, I have a duo with the famous Joe Salarino.
Okay.
It's a sequencer duo. In other words, many of the tracks are on a sequencer,
Got it.
which we play, and he plays to a click, and that's called Mercy.
Right. Gotcha.
And then we have a 3-piece band called Joe's Garage.
You do all Zappa.
And we do no Zappa.
Oh, okay.
And that pissed off a lot of people.
Yeah, I bet they probably showed up thinking that, right?
They
Yeah.
literally was like, "Where's the Zappa,
Yeah.
man? Where's the Zappa?" So I have officially, and I'm making this public announcement, changed the name
Okay.
of the band to Joe's Garage Band.
All right.
That way, that was the intention of the name.
Oh,
it was,
gotcha.
we're a garage band.
And it's you and Joe and
Ray, a good friend of ours, another 16-year-old we met, and his parents used to have to bring him to the gigs. Ray Lanick. Now he's working in Pittsburgh. He's
okay.
a great musician, great player. He plays bass, but he's playing guitar and writing songs.
Okay.
And he's great, just a great musician. And
The world needs more guitar.
yeah, all right. Well, it seems like every bass player, and don't you do this. They get really good on bass. They go, hell with it, I'm going to play guitar now.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Right. You don't have to worry about that from me. Right.
And then we had Jesse Lene for a while singing with us. And that was Wild Thing.
Okay.
Then we reformed. We did a reunion for our 40th year reunion at Rainbow Gardens, and it was
For the Cows.
over the top successful. For Ruby Port.
Oh, for Ruby Port, right, with Monica singing and.
Well, this was we actually had Paul.
Oh, you had Paul.
We had almost all the original members.
Right.
Steve McConnell played the drums.
Right.
Angelo came. It was a real reunion kind of thing. And
Yeah.
it went so well. I talked to Paul Youghlin. I said, Paul, at the time he was like 75 or 72. I said, you still sound good.
Yeah.
We can do this.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, I'll do it. So we reformed Ruby Port and
Right.
started playing around.
Yeah, you played a few gigs there.
And we played almost till he passed.
Right. Yeah.
And so I was doing that.
Also, long distance, Dick and Joe and I have been doing recording.
Oh, you have? Oh.
Yeah, that's
We did a lot
tricky.
of that.
Yeah.
It's tricky.
That's tricky.
But we have, done that stuff. And
He'd send me files. I'd add to it. I'd send it back to him. He'd send it back.
Are you both technically retired? Do you have any day jobs that you're
Nah,
doing other than playing music?
I have a business.
You do?
Yeah, I'm a title searcher. I work for lawyers and banks.
All right.
And I'm semi-retired because I brought my granddaughter in, and she's now doing it.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, I have a business now, but I'm backing away, and she's slowly taking over.
So that gives you more time to work on the songs that Ron sends
Right.
you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
more time to travel.
Yeah.
I got into audio and video both. And eventually, I was sick of driving around Southern California because you drive a lot. In Erie, people say, oh, it's 10 minutes away. I can't go across town. And I go, I'll drive 2 hours every day to work. And I worked for DirecTV and Time Warner. DirecTV was a fun job because the guy really liked me that was the head of the engineering department.
Yeah.
And I didn't have an engineering degree. But he wanted to know more about music and play. So we had our own little band. So that's probably why he hired me. Because, but I need someone here who doesn't think I can engineer.
Yeah.
And he would give me problems to solve that nobody was solving. Like the Dolby to digital was set wrong and with the volumes and how it was reacting. And so I studied all of it, figured out what was going on and what was wrong.
Yeah.
And so they downloaded to the satellite the correction. And it was fun.
Yeah,
You get these goofy problems. You go solve it.
Yeah, right.
And I
Keep
just
your
go try
hands
and
in.
solve. I'm a sucker for that.
Right.
But so those are good. But then eventually I didn't want to drive around, and a company was looking for a creative specialist. And I didn't know what it was, but I could get home on my bicycle. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And what it was is they installed security systems, skyscrapers, stadiums, mom and pops, and they said, we're putting all this stuff in because it's coming. Surveillance is coming.
Oh, right.
Into fruition, and we need somebody to help people when something bad happens. They pay thousands and thousands of dollars for this, and something bad happened. They don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So I started developing systems on what you could do and how you could prepare it for court and how you could clean it up or make more sense of it.
Right.
All my own stuff, all that, and eventually that ended about 5 years after that, and I went on my own. And to this day, after COVID, it's off the charts.
That's what you said last time.
People are very angry, and there's a lot of people killing each other.
Right.
And so I did all these audio or video of a lot of it's homicides or kidnapping.
Yeah.
But it really means something when you get somebody off because they're innocent.
Because you can help out.
And I've seen a lot of both sides. That's a whole other book.
Yeah,
of
right.
Stuff.
Right.
But in the meantime, I still play with. I played with a bluegrass band off and on for years.
Oh.
But an electric rock bluegrass band.
All right.
And that was a blast because it was just solos, all kinds of. Every song, everybody got at least 2 solos. And it's all like,
now, wait a minute there.
Dickie's not in that band, right?
Yeah, right.
Bluegrass with keyboards? No.
Yeah, well, bluegrass rock, But, and then also I played with a band called the Hailers, which were a guy from England. For some reason, I always headed off people from England. But he's a very talented guy, great writer, and he did a keyboard player. And it was fun. We had a lot of laughs and a good musical experience, but we'd pay the Canyon Club quite a bit. So we opened for like Felix Cavalier, Uriah Heep, Steppenwolf.
Wow.
People like that.
Yeah,
And that was fun. And opening up for Felix Cavalier and his Rascals.
Yeah, I was going to say.
He's got a different band.
I figure it's the
Better than
new Rascals.
Yeah. It was great. Those guys behind him were incredible. But then I went up, I said, hey, man, I'm Walt's brother from the Peppermint Lounge.
Yeah.
He goes, oh my God. I goes, I had your autograph when I was a kid. From Walt. He'd send me the Beatles autograph and Animals. And
Yeah.
So we had a real nice time with Felix with that. That was good, too.
Paula Holmes has a good story in her episode about meeting Felix at a Report gig. And,
okay.
Yeah, they came in to see Paul.
Right.
But then COVID kind of put everything
right
at a still. So now it's just what I do at home. I love just playing piano and doing my own arrangements of my own songs or other songs. Yeah. I love old standard with great melodies and just totally restructure the chordal system. Yeah. And so I love music, so it really isn't that big of a deal not to go play.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I greatly appreciate you both being here today, and I look forward to the next Cows reunion when everybody can come out and see you again.
Yes.
When all of this is over.
Right.
So, Dickie, thanks. Ron, thanks.
Oh, thank you,
Chip.
Yep.
Thank you.
This was great. And for those of you out there listening, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. And if you like, you can go to Patreon, support the podcast. You can find it on any of your normal podcast apps. But until next time, I'm Chip Shell, and this is the Erie Music History Podcast. Thanks. All right. As you can imagine, that was a fun episode to record. Those guys were great. Hey, this is the point in each episode where I tell you to listen to Jack Stevenson's two-man happy hour podcast, because Jack is the one telling you who's playing where and when these days. So check that out online at twomanhappyhour.com. Also, big thank you, as usual, to the JPT Foundation, which is our sponsor. They have a giant bingo hall on West 38th Street that has bingo 4 days a week, and you can rent it out for all sorts of different functions. So check them out at jptfoundation.com. Thanks to my Patreon supporters, Mike and Murray Miller, awesome musicians, awesome friends. And also to Janice and Mark Nelson. Mark was in the previous episode, and they are now Patreon supporters also. So thank you to all of them. And if you want to help support the podcast, just go to Patreon, patreon.com, and look for the Erie Music History Podcast. Also, listen to Chris and Julie Moore's Next to You radio program on WQLN NPR 91.3. I tell you about it every week. So until next time, I'm Chip Shell. Thanks a lot for listening to the Erie Music History Podcast. Hey, if you're still there, here's my random plug for a local business that I like. Be sure to check out the Gem City Diner located on West 12th Street, just west of Powell Avenue. They give you tons of food for not a lot of money, and if you need a recommendation, here it is, okay? I suggest trying the Gem City Burger. Now, I'm not going to tell you what's on it because you may think I'm crazy, but it's not your average burger. So check it out. It's made with a fresh patty, and everything there is really fresh, and the people there are just fantastic. So trust me, go check out the Gem City Diner. All right, see ya.